Hello, you wonderful souls out there. I hope you're having a wonderful day wherever you are in the world. So, I'm using this. It's a Bluetooth thing. It's just a backup in case I need to charge my mobile phone and do a video at the same time. So I haven't got my other mic because I haven't got the adapter where I can charge it and use that one yet. So, please subscribe, like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications. So today I'd like to talk to you about something really important. Now, before you report my video, please do your own investigation, research, whatever you like to call it. Okay? Now, I've had a really good cry before making this video because there's a lot of emotions with this and it's very close to my heart. So I've had to do a lot of crying to get my emotions out to be able to do this video because this is heartbreaking for me. Now I'd like to talk to you about children. Do you know where your children are? For all those who are wide awake like myself, already know what's really going on with all the missing children that have never been found all these years, and you know what's going on, then you know what I'm talking about. For all those who are only just waking up and don't know, I suggest you please go and do some research to investigate. Okay? Now, no family should judge another family. All families work differently. All families have different circumstances. Like us, we have different circumstances to most. And obviously we have restrictions in place that we can't help. So, plus I have cerebral palsy and I have learning disabilities as well. I am no means the perfect mother, and being a mother or father doesn't come with a handbook. Now, the question being, do you know where your children are and what they are doing? Now, I appreciate that there's some single parents out there who work. I'm a mom, but I am married and I do have my husband with me. And basically, I'm self-employed as well. And, there are many different circumstances to every family. Okay? But this should not stop us knowing where our children are. I know it's difficult. Some care about their children enough to know where they are. Because I've seen families actually making sure their children are playing on the piece of grass outside their home with other children. They're making sure they're safe, which is brilliant. I like that because I know that the parents are looking after them. Even if they're in the house, they're still looking. I've seen parents looking out the window, making sure their children are safe. So, that's good. On the other hand, I have seen children go around town asking for money. And also I've seen young girls in very short school uniforms And even when they're not in school, they're wearing short skirts, which to me is not appropriate at all. Now, for all those who are fully awake, you know what I mean. We have to protect our children at all costs. Okay? It's not right to actually have a go at another mother or another family, because everyone brings their family up different. Unfortunately, we got different circumstances to most people. So unfortunately, there is stuff that we have to do. But the question still remains, where do you know where your children are? Now, there's so many thousands of children go missing each year. Thousands. And they never return. Now, there is an American team that did a stunt. Yes, of course, they're actors. The boy's even an actor. And I was mortified to see. Now, they were doing a social experiment on the people in America to see what the response would be if a child got abducted right in front of them. Now, even though these were actors, these people didn't know, and I was mortified that none of these people even tried to help the child. I was absolutely mortified, and it's heartbreaking that nobody would be willing to help a child who is being kidnapped. Just goes to show how people react. They don't want to know. It was heartbreaking. If I seen a child being abducted, trust me, I killed the person just to save the child. No child deserves to be abducted. The other thing is, do you know what your children are wearing? Especially young girls. Now, there's not just men are interested in children. Also, women are interested in children as well, for many different reasons. Now, I am shocked. I really am. With the amount of young girls going around in short skirts, including young adults. Going round, these children are being manipulated. These children are easy led. These children, I presume, come from vulnerable families. I'm not sure what these family circumstances are, but one, they shouldn't be going around asking for money unless there's a valid reason. Now, there's two things I can think of. Obviously, they're doing it off the back. Well, actually, three things. Obviously, they're doing it off the back, or the parents are telling them to go out and get money, or they basically are, how can I put it, they are See, there are some families that give them a list not to buy but to steal. So if there's any families out there that's got children, don't be so scared to get some help. I'd rather help a family than children going begging for money or, stealing food. Because it's not fair on the child. Now, I don't want any child to go through what I went through as a child. No child should go through what I went through. I was murdered. I was physically murdered. I was pushed through a glass door. I was dead for up to an hour. I was in a coma for 2 weeks, roughly. The care system does not care about any child. Now, if a child's in the care system, it's likely they're not being looked after properly. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some foster parents who are nice and care about people, about children, and are genuine help. On the other hand, there are foster people who pretend to care for children. And I was one of those people, one of those children in the care system, and they didn't care. Now, I'm saying to parents, do you know where your child is? So many parents, so many mums and dads have already regretted because they've lost their child. They've had to bury their child, or their child never returned and still have never been found. So, I'm begging all mums and dads and myself to make sure you know where your children are. Okay? You don't want your child or children to go missing. You don't want your child to basically be raped. You don't want your child being murdered. And it doesn't matter if you're in the care system or not. Now, for all those parents, mums and dads, who think it's funny to go into a pub and stay there most of the day, drinking while your child is out. What's more important, you drinking or your child? That's the one question you've got to ask yourself. Your children is the most important thing in your life. They're our future. They are your future. In today's world, they can't have a lot of freedom at the moment. because of the way the world is. This is why you need to make sure that you know where your child is going. Whether your child is where they are. Because if something happens to them, you know to go straight to that place where they were last saw. Now, if you can, get a mobile phone for them. Get them to keep it in the pocket. Okay, you can get an app called kid tracking or something it's called. That's what it is. Put it on their phone. Make sure they're safe. The other thing as well, if you've got a dog as well, if you've got a dog that can go with your child, it will help your child, protect your child. Do you know what your children are wearing? Because it seems that they're all being encouraged to wear, the girls are all being encouraged to wear short dresses, short skirts, and sexy stuff, full stop. Do you know what your children are wearing? This will entice anybody. Is temptation. Okay, this is temptation. It's like having a £20 note. Okay? Just imagine you've got a £20 note and you put it on the table. Okay? Someone walks by your table and swipes it. It's the same principle for any child. They're just going to take your child. And it could be for any reason. If your child is wearing sexy stuff like very short mini skirts, low cut tops, it's going to entice people. You don't want to entice. You're putting your children in danger. Do you know who your children are mixing with? Do you know who they're with? I'm not a perfect mom. I said in the beginning, I'm not. I'm just trying to help as many children, families as I can. Because what I don't want is another story saying a child is missing. A child's been murdered, a child's been raped. It's bloody hard. I was lucky to be brought down alive. And you don't... People are not going to understand. People are not going to comprehend the way that I act, the way I act. A lot of people don't even like me because the way I act. But if you knew exactly what I went through, if I told you the full story from A to B, then you will realise, oh, okay, now I can comprehend what you've been through. It is bloody hard. It's bloody hard. Now, the other thing as well, There are many stories coming out now. Many women are coming out saying they have been raped. They were kidnapped. They were forced to do things. Jimmy Savile, for God's sake. He worked for the BBC. With the BBC, he worked for the royal family. Child sex offenders go down really deep. There's so many questions that need to be answered. I'm not going to get justice to what happened to me. And I don't expect it to, because I know I will never get justice. But at the same time, I've been told I've got to protect my children with my life. So I'm begging all mums and dads out there who really truly love their children, do you know where your children are? Do you know what your girls are wearing when they're out? Help protect them. Tell them how to respect their bodies. Say where if your girls or young girls are wearing something they shouldn't be, talk to them about it. Talk to them about it and say this isn't appropriate. Because I'll tell you something for nothing. When they are a lot older, they don't want to know. They don't want to know. They think they can fight it off. Your child might say, oh, I can protect myself. Not when there's a gang of them. You can't. No child can actually defend themselves, especially as a group of them. And no young adult can either. So I'm begging you to please talk to your children. Find out where they're going. If you can afford a mobile phone, get them a mobile phone. If you've got a dog, say to them, take the dog. It's not going to limit what they can do. The dog will protect them, especially if the dog is loyal. And dogs are very good in sorting out who's predators and who's not. So I'm begging. Make sure you know where your children are. So many children go missing each year. So many get murdered each year. And a lot of children don't come back. And their parents are devastated. So I'm begging you, please make sure you know where your children are. I know it's difficult, but you mustn't judge. The other thing is you can't judge other families, members. What I mean by that, I'll rephrase that. Please don't go judging other families, because they have different they might have different circumstances to you too. Just like us, we've got different circumstances to most families. So, please Please, please, make sure you know where your children are. Otherwise you will regret it, because something could happen to your child. Thousands have already regretted it already and not had their child back. And they have to live with that for the rest of their lives. I'm going to leave it here now. Take care all. Please remember, please like and share. Okay? And turn on all notifications. Alright? Instead of judging another family and trying to talk to the, talk to the mom or the dad. They might need a little help. Talk to the parents. Don't judge, because they might have different circumstances to you. Now I'm going to go now, guys, for definite this time. Take care all. Bye for now.